Welcome to Pacific Crest Services and part one of our video series on being an independent insurance agent. This first video will be called Introduction to Agent Independence. As you watch our video and you attend our video series over the next few weeks, feel free to give us a call for a fact-finding interview, and we will be happy to tell you a little bit about more about our Independent Agent Advantage programs and see if we could be a fit for you to help you start your own independent insurance agency. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our organization. We are, first of all, a producing independent insurance agency. We represent multiple insurance carriers and have active agents that produce under Pacific Crest. And we also have independent agents throughout the United States that write under our general agency appointments, auto insurance, home insurance, commercial insurance, life, disability, long-term care, any types of fixed insurance products. Pacific Crest can help you start your own independent agency, and we basically have a pulse on what's going out there because we're actively producing in the insurance field. We have over 16 years of experience in the insurance and financial services, and we've been helping independent agents over the past decade start and open their own independent insurance agency. Who are you? Typically the folks that are attending our video sessions are licensed captive insurance agents or independent agent producers that work for independent agents, and usually they have about 2 to 6 years experience, and what we've seen is around that 2-year mark, captive insurance agents start seeing that there's maybe another way to operate an insurance agency by the captive relationship they're in, and also those independent producing agents find that, hey, I'd rather operate my own independent insurance agency instead of work for somebody else. We see a lot of successful CPAs, tax professional, real estate agents, mortgage brokers that would like to get into the insurance business to diversify their income. As we know, over the last couple of years, we've been in a real recessionary period, and a lot of folks have sought out the insurance field as a way to diversify their income and hedge themselves against this recessionary period. As we know, the insurance agent path is a very lucrative path and can be very beneficial once we get our renewals up to a certain point. And a lot of these successful entrepreneurs can see that and want to get into this business, as you can probably tell. Why are you here? Well, mainly if you're looking into being an independent insurance agent, you probably want to learn a little bit more about what an independent agent is, and you're at the right spot. This video series we'll be going through, we'll be talking about commissions and compensation and technology and the freedom and flexibility of being an insurance agent, along with building relationships with customers and carriers, and we'll be talking about what it is to be an independent agent and if you're the right fit for it. You may be looking for greater freedom and flexibility. I started off as a captive insurance agent, and at one point, after about 4 years in the business, realized that, hey, I want to run my own business. I want to be the person in charge and leave a legacy to my family and have the flexibility to run the agency the way I want to. But with that comes a lot of heartache, a lot of work, and a lot of risk sometimes. You want to increase your income. You want to increase your renewals. You want autonomy to run your business. You want to create a legacy, like I mentioned, for yourself and for your family. Maybe you want to increase the odds of success as far as closing. As you know, as a captive insurance agent or working for somebody else, you might only be able to represent one market or one carrier. As an independent, the sky's the limit. If you want to focus on commercial or if you want to focus on property and casualty, you have the ability to pick up multiple carriers that cover many different markets. Maybe you're tired of being told what to do and how to do it. Those are usually the folks that we find out are looking to get into the independent insurance agent field. captive versus independent, you first have to understand the differences between the two type of environments. The captive environment has some real advantages over the independent, I think, but there's some real disadvantages too, and I want to discuss those with you briefly in this video. When you're a captive agent, you work for one carrier. You don't have the ability to work for multiple carriers and have multiple markets at your fingertips. But if you find out there's a lot of captive companies out there that have a great brand recognition, they've been around for hundreds of years, and they've really penetrated the market early on, and so they have that brand awareness that can be pretty valuable when you're a captive agent. Whereas when you run your own independent agency, you're not going to be as well recognized because you may not have the financial clout to advertise like some of these other company brands you may see on TV or radio or even on in the media. Captive agent, little to no control. Independent, complete control. You're running your own business. You determine when you go to work, how much you want to work, how much income you want to make. You're the chief, the cook, and the bottle washer, right? So minimal flexibility as a captive agent. You're told when to come in, how much to produce, what your quotas are, what they expect for loss ratios. Independent, you have maximum flexibility, right? You're not told what to produce, how to produce it. If you don't want to sell life insurance, you don't have to. Typically in the captive environment, you're going to make less compensation. In the independent environment, you're going to make greater compensation. Usually it's an estimate, but probably 20 to 40% more in compensation as an independent over a captive is what I've seen. That's not necessarily always the case, but it's what I've seen in my career. Again, reduced markets, multiple markets as an independent. You're probably going to get a little bit better training as a captive agent than an independent agent because a captive agent, they want you to sell the way that they want you to. They want you to sell their products and services, and they usually have pretty good back office training and systems for you. Whereas an independent, it's going to be more self-reliant. It's going to be more on your back. You have little to no ownership. As an independent, you have 100% vested ownership, and of course that vested ownership you can leave as a legacy to friends or family, sons or daughters that you want to leave your agency to. In a captive environment, when you want to leave, they're going to take the book with them. So a little bit of the differences. So if you look at this and you say, wow, independent's where I want to go, right? I mean, it sounds like a really, really good avenue for me. You need to hold on because a lot of folks don't realize that getting into the independent environment, you got to get appointments. You got to build relationships with these carriers, and they're just not going to give away those appointments. They're going to expect production. They're going to expect you to maintain certain loss ratios, and it sounds a lot like a captive environment if you kind of break it down. So before you get too antsy about being an independent, you got to realize that getting these relationships and these appointments is no small endeavor. The learning curve is going to be a lot more as an independent agent. You got to learn all the products and services of every one of the carriers you represent versus learning one product or service with the standalone captive type of environment. You got to have back office support and reporting. You got to do your own commissions. You got to build your agency infrastructure. What about your database management system? Computer servers. What if you wanted to use a multi-rater or have a website, marketing, etc., etc., etc. So there's a lot to building an independent agency besides just holding out your shingle. Why Pacific Crest Services and why you might want to look at us. We've created a single solution, a complete package of services to opening your own independent agency. Our focus is reducing, eliminating all the barriers that you may have to starting up an independent agency, as the ones I've just mentioned. And we've created a total back office solution for you to get from square one to start your practice and be able to get in and get selling instead of trying to build the back office and the minutia that causes you to not make any money. So this is part one of our video series. If you'd like to learn more, continue to watch our online videos. Feel free to give us a call and we'll do a confidential interview with you and allow you to do a fact finding with us and allow us to ask you some questions. We can get to know each other a little bit better. I want to thank you again for attending this first video in our video series, and please attend our other videos, and we hope to hear from you soon.